The WSU Police Department is intended to be a critically important bulwark when it comes to protecting students in the community from sexual harassment, stalking, and dangerous predators. However, prior to Kohberger being hired by WSU and arriving in the Pullman Moscow community, the WSU Police Department had a long, troubling, and sordid history of tolerating and, in fact, fostering inappropriate sexual behavior in its own ranks and discouraging complete and accurate reporting of such misconduct. In 2007, the WSU chief of police was demoted after an internal investigation found he had viewed inappropriate emails on his university computer, forwarded those to other WSU police, and invited them to view them. In 2011, WSU was fined over $80,000 by federal officials because of multiple sexual assaults that were not properly reported. WSU did not dispute the findings of the federal investigation. In 2022, WSU undertook an investigation of improper sexual activities by the WSU police force involving allegations that an officer had sex with a victim in the presidential suite of the Martin Stadium. Next page. With a victim in the presidential suite of the Martin Stadium and the WSU Observatory while on duty. And that WSU Police Department leadership did not properly report the incidents. The investigation ultimately found that police department leadership exhibited gross misconduct, incompetence, and neglect of duty in response to claims of sexual misconduct. In August 2022, the WSU police chief, assistant chief, and captain all resigned prior to facing discipline for their actions. In response, WSU President Kirk Schultz issued a public statement indicating that, quote, WSU will not tolerate this kind of behavior, nor the negligence of departmental command staff, end quote. A subsequent investigation into the offending officer during the fall semester of 2022, let's keep that in mind, fall of 2022. Fall of 2022. Yeah, fall of 2022. A subsequent investigation of the offending officer during the fall semester of 2022 found that he engaged in predatory grooming behavior while in a supervisory role and had a history of sexual misconduct, and that the WSU Police Command fostered an environment that discouraged reporting sexual misconduct. It was against the above described backdrop of WSU administrative inaction and police department dysfunction that Kohberger arrived in Pullman Moscow community, immediately began engaging in overt harassing, stalking, and predatory behaviors. I had to turn the page for you. Let's see. It was against the above described backdrop of WSU administrative inaction and police department dysfunction that Kohberger arrived in the Pullman Moscow community. He immediately began engaging in overt harassing, stalking, and predatory behaviors, including repeatedly stalking over a period of months the 4 victims that he ultimately murdered on November 13th, 2022. That's interesting. So in this sidebar, they're claiming in this lawsuit that he was stalking the 4 victims as well, which is super interesting when you consider that we have Bill Thompson and the state of Idaho claiming he didn't stalk them. So I don't know how that's going to work, right? WSU is going to play the prosecutor is my guess. They're going to play the clips of the prosecutor. I don't know. I think WSU actually may fight this. I was under the impression at first they may just settle this out of court, but I don't know, dude. I think that they're actually going to fight this, if you want my honest to God's opinion. I don't think they're going to settle this out of court because I think they're going to be like, no. What do you mean he was stalking? We didn't facilitate his stalking. Even the state said he wasn't stalking. Know what I mean? So I don't know. Let's continue. Subsequent forensic examination of Kohberger's electronic devices revealed that he had performed many searches regarding home invasions, co-ed killings, and serial killers. Kohberger's search history also revealed internet searches about psychopaths, paranoia, and porn involving exclusively non-consensual sex acts. Jesus. Yeah, because maybe sidebar, maybe somebody put a little fucking bird in his ear and told him what was going on out there with all of these cops. In the fall semester of 2022, one of the cops is found to not to be grooming students, not just committing sexual assault against them. It's a pattern of abuse and grooming. How do we know he wasn't there? How do we know he wasn't brought in specifically to monitor that? How do we know he wasn't brought in specifically to look into that situation? How do we don't, right? We don't. We don't. Interesting. Many searches regarding home invasions, co-ed killings, serial killers. Kohberger's search history also revealed internet searches about psychopaths, paranoia, and porn. Yeah. Kohberger's search history also included research on a serial killer named Danny Rolling, who murdered 5 college students in Gainesville, Florida, by entering a college apartment through a sliding glass door, masked and dressed in black, and stabbed his victim to death using a K-bar knife. All features of Kohberger's later murders. Subsequent law enforcement investigation also revealed that Kohberger had driven around the home of the murder victims in the middle of the night over a dozen times and as early as August 2022. Interesting. Right when they're moving in, he just happens to be driving around stalking the place because they didn't even move in till August. Right? Kaylee didn't move in till August. Dylan and Bethany didn't move in till August. So how could it? So he just look at that luck of the draw. What luck? As soon as they move in, he's like, "Oh shit! Look at that! I can stalk them." Interesting timing. Interesting timing. Hmm. James Moen, I can't even believe you. Thank you so much for your super sticker. I've been meaning to say thank you, but I was reading over here on another screen. Thank you so much, dude. That was so very nice of you. I truly appreciate it. I hope everybody put a bunch of hearts in chat for James. You're far too kind to me, sir. Really fucking appreciate it. Thank you, man. That was so very nice of you. Despite having a formal threat assessment team, a now common practice at universities to proactively identify, assess, and manage individuals who may pose a risk of violence, WSU wholly failed to follow that process with Kohberger and instead allowed his dangerous behaviors to escalate while it simultaneously continued to support him financially. Make sure that turned the page for you guys. Yes. Um, so they allowed his dangerous behaviors to escalate while they simultaneously continued to support him financially and provide him with access to university resources and students and keep him housed rent-free in the Pullman Moscow community. As a result of WSU's actions and failures, 4 young college students were brutally murdered.